Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Buki. I'm a food blogger, and on this channel I post food recipes, I post kitchen tips and hacks, and just tricks to make your everyday life as a home cook much easier. In today's video, I'm sharing a recipe for stir-fried chicken spaghetti. This is one recipe that has saved me so many times. Like when I have a block, like when I can't think of anything fancy to cook or anything interesting to cook, I just make this spaghetti dish and it's always a saver. Like because my whole family likes spaghetti, it's always a win-win, like for them and for me, and it tastes really, really yum. One of the things I really like about this recipe is how easy and quick it is to make. It's also really versatile, so you don't have to use exactly the things that I'm using. You can adapt it to what you have, which is what it is. Just get whatever veggies, whatever pasta, whatever protein that you have, and just put it together, and it's going to be an amazing dish for your family. So stay tuned while I show you how I make my stir-fried chicken spaghetti. For this recipe, I'm using spaghetti. You can use any pasta that you have or that your family likes. So fettuccine, linguine will work, or even penne, or anything really will work for this. I'm using a mix of bell peppers. I'm using some carrots, some sliced onions. I'm using shredded boneless chicken breast. I'm using some spring onions, and I'm using canola oil. Vegetable oil or groundnut oil works too. For my seasoning, I'm using curry powder, white pepper, dried thyme, seasoning powder, some salt, and onion powder. And that is all, you guys. This dish is going to come together like in a snap. It's so quick and so easy. One of my favorites. I'm going to start first by cooking my spaghetti. So in this pot, I've already been boiling some water, and now I'm just going to salt the water. And then I'm going to add my spaghetti. I don't break my spaghetti, but you can if you want to do that. I'm going to give it a few minutes to start boiling so it sort of shrinks, and then I can cover the pot and allow it to cook. While the spaghetti is cooking, in this pot I'm going to start making the stir fry. So I'm going to add some oil. When the oil is hot, I'm going to add in the shredded chicken. I like to season my chicken. For a dish like this, I like to season my chicken as it starts to cook. So I'm going to add the seasoning powder, onion powder, the dried thyme, white pepper, and some of the curry powder. So I'll just cook it with the seasoning now until it's cooked through and it's no longer pink. This doesn't take a lot of time. It'll take about 3 minutes to cook through. So the reason I season my chicken when I'm making a dish like this is because it just gives it a lot of flavor. You know, when you mix everything together, the chicken doesn't just stand out, you know, not having any taste. It's properly seasoned from the start, so it adds even more flavor into the final dish. Now that this chicken is cooked, I'm going to take it out and just set it aside. I'll set it aside now, and then I'll start on the rest of the stir fry process. So in the same pot, I'm going to add my chopped tomatoes. So I decided I was going to use tomatoes for this and not a pepper base because I didn't want all of that liquid. I still wanted to have some tomato, and this adds some moistness to the dish. It doesn't end up being too dry. So rather than a pepper mix, I'm going to use my tomatoes, and in here I'm going to add the rest of my seasoning. I'm going to cook this on medium heat. I'm going to cook this on medium heat until it starts to lose that acidity that tomatoes usually have. While this tomato is cooking, I think my spaghetti is ready, so I'm going to drain it and leave it in the colander. I don't like soggy food, so I'm just going to sort out that spaghetti real quick, and then I'll come back. I'll just let it sit in this colander until I need it. So my tomatoes have cooked a bit more. I think it needs a little oil. So I'm going to add a bit. I'm going to continue to cook it now for another 2 minutes at least, so that it just really loses all of that acidy taste that it has. You know, it's kind of tangy, and I don't want my spaghetti to have that. So I'm going to cook it down until it loses all of that. And then I'm going to add in my carrots. Because carrots are a little tough, I'm going to add it first so that it just cooks down, maybe about 30 seconds, just for it to soften a little bit. So this is not your authentic stir fry, but I'm going to call it stir fry because I'm sort of stir frying all the vegetables, and you know, just kind of is what the stir fry is, you know. So I'm calling it my own stir fry dish. So don't quote me, please. It's not your authentic stir fry dish, but I'm going to call it my own stir fry. Cooking your spaghetti this way, making sure that your vegetables are dry, not so dry because you have the tomatoes in there that would add the moisture. It just gives you a really nice finished dish. I don't like, I mean, it just depends on my mood, to be honest. Sometimes I like spaghetti that are made in a tomato sauce so I can slurp and really enjoy it. And sometimes I like it really dry, not too dry, but you know, just kind of dry and really nice. Next, I'm going to add in the onion so that I can cook that down a little bit, so about another 30 seconds, and then I'll add in my bell peppers. So the order that I've done this was to cook the tomato down first so that it loses the acidic taste, and then next in went the carrots because they're a little tougher, so that it just softens up a little bit, and then went in my onions so that they can cook down a little bit and soften. The bell peppers don't need as much time as all the other vegetables to cook. They only need a couple of seconds, so they're going in last. Now that I've added my bell peppers to this, I'm just going to let it cook for another 30 seconds. And then I'm going to add in my chicken that I set aside earlier. I'll stir all of this together now and let it cook maybe another 1 minute so that everything is properly cooked, but still nice and crunchy. Stirring this now, I'm just looking at this and it looks like something that could be a fajita, you know, something that could go in a wrap and with a little sauce and just taste really nice. I'm just stirring it now, and this fajita just came to my mind. I think I'm going to try that out, not this time, but I'm going to do something like this and get a tortilla wrap and just wrap it in, and I think it'll be really nice. I have to come up with a sauce to use for it though, but I'll keep you guys posted on that. Now I'm going to add in my spaghetti. Depending on the doneness of the spaghetti when you drained it, that's what's going to determine if you need to add some water for it to finish cooking. I think mine was just fine when I drained it, considering I don't like soggy food and overcooked spaghetti. I'm going to just mix all of this together and then I'll taste it and see how it's doing. So it's easier to use a tongue to stir all of this together as opposed to a wooden spoon. You'll be able to get all the vegetables in the middle of the spaghetti and, you know. Not to say that you can use a pepper mix for this if you wanted. This is just my preference. If you wanted to use a pepper mix for this, it would still work the same way. So at the time you added the tomatoes, you just add the pepper mix and then maybe add your vegetables much later when you've added the spaghetti. Now I'm going to add in my spring onions, which is the final thing, and give it one last stir so that everything just mixes together. Spring onions adds a really nice flavor to your meals. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but I like to add spring onions to the end of some of my meals because it adds a really nice flavor to it. So I'm doing all of this now on low heat because there's no water in this, but the steam is going to finish cooking it. You know how I say less water and more steam to cook dishes like this. So I give it 2 minutes now, and then my spaghetti is ready. This spaghetti, you guys, is on my top 10 favorite things to cook. It's just so yummy and so quick, and it's one of the things that I just love the most about it. So I'm just going to serve it in here and taste it. And I can already assure you that it tastes divine. I can't wait for you guys to try out this recipe and let me know what your thoughts are. Like I said, you can use beef if that's your thing. You can use shrimps. I've used shrimps a couple of times. And then you can use chicken breast if you want. Do you hear the crunch of the vegetable? Like, it's so good. The chicken is nicely seasoned. The spaghetti is just the right texture, and all of the vegetables just taste really, really good, you guys. Please try this one out like ASAP and let me know what your thoughts are. Do you guys see how easy that was to make? Like, it's quick, and it comes together in like 25 minutes. It's the perfect weeknight meal, like when you come back from work and you have to cook. This is one of the things that you should consider making. It's really, really easy to make. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me your questions and your suggestions down below and I'll respond to them. Please follow me on Instagram at The Kitchen Muse if you're not already following me. Tag me in your pictures and send me DMs when you do recreate my recipe. I'd love to see them and share. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Stay safe and stay blessed. Bye bye.